So welcome to you all here in person, in front of me, to the left of me, to the right of me, and no one behind me. But welcome to you online. And we are here with you at home, in your flats, in your temples, wherever you may be. And we're here in West London, Śrī Chaitanya Saraswat Mat. And we can give jais also to Śrī Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Krishna Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. And the classic book about Śikṣāṣṭakam, the 8 prayers of Mahaprabhu, and about Mahaprabhu, his life and teachings in brief, the golden volcano of divine love by Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rapa Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. So as we have been doing, we're just going to read very few verses from Chaitanya Charitamrita, and just a reminder that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in the very apex of all the highest ecstasies of Krishna consciousness, he was relishing these own verses, these own verses, which he himself composed. So these are extremely special. They're 8 verses directly composed, written by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and here in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, then continuing from where we were last time, where Mahaprabhu is with his 2 most intimate devotees of the highest order, Sri Swarup Damodar and Sri Ramananda Roy. And Mahaprabhu, so we're on Antya-lila, the last section, the last pastimes, the last chapter, chapter number 20 and verse number 20. Antya-lila, chapter 20, verse 20. So the translation is that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued saying to Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Roy, "O Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Roy, hear from me the symptoms of how one should chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to awaken very easily one's dormant love for Krishna." Okay, very good. So this is Mahaprabhu. You can understand from the heart saying this. "O Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Roy, hear from me the symptoms of how one should chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to awaken very easily one's dormant love for Krishna." So that verse, what we said in Bengali, "Je rupe loile nama prema uppajaya tahara lakshana shunna svarupa rama raya." And then the verse, which is our 3rd verse of the Siksastakam prayers, and you have this on your sheet, which is handed out, and many, maybe most of you know it by heart. So let us say this 3rd verse together slowly. tṛṇād api sunīcena taroriva sahiṣṇunā amāninā mānadena kīrtanīyaḥ sadā hariḥ. And the translation that you have got here, one who is humbler than a blade of grass. It's gone. Coming soon on a Zoom screen near to you, but not near to me, it seems. Anyway, I just wanted to check what translation was coming on the screen. Okay, more forbearing than it. It's the same one as here?
It's from Golden Volcano.
Okay. So the translation I have here at least, and there are different ways to translate, but one who is humbler than a blade of grass, tolerant like that of a tree. So more forbearing than a tree, who gives due honor to others without desiring honor for himself, is qualified to always chant the holy name of Krishna. Yes. So this is the translation given in the Golden Volcano of Divine Love. And I'm still going to keep reading because this is Sanskrit. And remember, Srila Krishna Kaviraj is presenting the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita for the Bengali readers. And in the text he says, yes, many Sanskrit verses, but as far as possible, the explanation is given. And Mahaprabhu here is explaining his own verse, as he said earlier in this chapter. He's explaining his own verses, these 8 verses, as well as he is relishing them. So he's tasting them and explaining them. So Mahaprabhu is explaining now. Oh, well, first he's the translation of the Sanskrit. Oh, we did that. Okay, right. So now Mahaprabhu is explaining. Yes, back to the text. So he's saying in Bengali, these are the symptoms of one who chants the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Although he is very exalted, he thinks himself lower than the grass on the ground. And like a tree, he tolerates everything in 2 ways. When a tree is cut down, it does not protest. And even when drying up, like now, very hot and dry, it does not ask anyone for water. The tree delivers its fruits, flowers, and whatever else it possesses to anyone and everyone. It tolerates scorching heat and torrents of rain, yet it still gives shelter to others. This is Mahaprabhu explaining the verse to Ramananda Roy and Swaruprabhu. And then, although a Vaishnava is the most exalted person, he is prideless, and he gives all respect to everyone, knowing everyone to be the resting place of Krishna. Krishna is in the heart of everyone. If one chants the holy name of Lord Krishna in this manner of humility, tolerance, giving honor and not wanting honor for oneself, he will certainly awake his dormant love for Krishna's lotus feet. So that's the translation of the Bengali, and we gave it all together because it's that flow. But now you can hear the Bengali because now you know what the meaning is. So Mahaprabhu explaining the verse. So these are the symptoms of one who chants the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Although he's very exalted, he thinks himself lower than the grass, and like a tree, he tolerates everything in 2 ways. Okay. Uttama hoya apanake mane tṛṇād dui prakare sahiṣṇunā kore vriksha sama. So in 2 ways he tolerates everything like a tree. And then explaining the 2 ways, when a tree is cut down, it doesn't protest, and even when drying up, it doesn't ask, give me a glass of water. Vriksharena khatileha kichuna balaya shukaya maileha kore pai na magaya. Not asking for anything. And the tree delivers fruits, flowers, and whatever else it has for anyone and everyone. And it tolerates scorching heat and much rain. Yet it gives shelter to others. Jai Jai Magaye Taredeya Apanadana Gharma Vrishti Sohe Anira Karaye Rakshana. Or probably Rakhana. And next verse, although a Vaishnava is very exalted, he is prideless and gives all respect to everyone, knowing everyone is the resting place of Krishna. Uttama hoya Vaishnava hobe nirabhimana jive samana dive jani Krishna adhisthana. And then the last verse that we read just now, Mahaprabhu is saying, if one chants the holy name of Lord Krishna in this way, he will certainly awaken his dormant, sleeping love for Krishna. E mata hoya jai Krishna nama loya Śrī Śikṣāṣṭakam tara prema upajaya. Jai. So this is straight from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, straight from Mahaprabhu explaining his own verse. Now this verse, tṛṇād sunīcena taroriva sahiṣṇunā amāninā mānadena kīrtanīyaḥ sadā hariḥ. We have between us in this room heard maybe more than 1,000 times. What do you think? If we add up how many times each of us have heard. Because it is the very instruction, as Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur are all explaining. This is Mahaprabhu's own instruction of how to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And it's not a big complicated instruction where you have to fast for 4 days, clean yourself this way, stand on your head for another day or two. And do, I mean, all these different things you find in different yoga books, maybe not exactly what I described, but all sorts of things in order, then you be promised, then you will get some clear angle of vision of the world and you will see things differently. No, if you're upside down, standing on your head for 2 days, probably you will see things differently. But this is very straightforward direction on the surface of it, on the face of it. But as Srila Gurudev also points out, it's a lifetime of practice. So humility, to be more humble than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, to give honor to anyone, to everyone, knowing it is Krishna's creation, knowing everything is Krishna's creation, and Krishna is side by side with the jiva soul, in an ant or in an elephant, and in every kind of human being, of course. In every life, then Krishna is there. And to feel one's, and to not want honor for oneself, which comes within the humility department too. But elsewhere, and I didn't exactly find, I didn't look for it, but honor, the opposite of not wanting honor for oneself is that there is a hankering for honor. And Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, in his song, which I think is a song entitled Vaishnava K, he describes honor, the pratishta, as stool, poop, what you flush down the toilet, and not just any stool, but the stool of a pig, which is considered as the worst kind of stool. The pig is eating stool and then he's pooping stool, so it's like... Anyway, we don't want to think about it too much, but Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur uses that expression to try to rub it in our face that pratishta, it is a terrible thing, which is the last hurdle. Elsewhere, Guru Maharaj is saying it's the last hurdle for us to cross, the last barrier. We may give up all attraction, male for female, female for male. We may give up all attraction to the Ferrari parked outside and the Rolls Royce in the back and all these other things. We may give up all attraction to wealth and anything, but to fame, it is very difficult to give up this idea of importance. But this whole verse is giving us stress that we must understand our own absolutely unimportant position. We are, as we mentioned last time, 1/10,000th the tip of the size of a hair. We're just a tiny jiva soul. But we've got this potency from Krishna. But we are tiny. And not only are we tiny, we've entered this material world because we have betrayed the Lord, we have denied the Lord, we've tried to do things ourselves instead of relying on the Lord and knowing that if I just surrender to Krishna, that's the healthy position of the jiva soul. That needs some humility, that we can understand, really, I should just be a servant. But servant doesn't always sound like the right word, but we should just be automatically engaging our energy instead of in the material world, instead of that to Sri Krishna. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is giving some description about his own verse, humility, tolerance, giving honor, not wanting honor. Then one is able to chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Kīrtanīyaḥ sadā hariḥ. So kirtan, always chanting. Kirtan of the Lord. Kirtan of the Lord, always chanting. Mahaprabhu has given some explanation. And by the way, you all have in the post, you received your folder. I got my folder here, I didn't put it in yet. And your words here. And really appreciation to Subhasini Devidasi, who's got, don't tell her, but she's got PhDs and all sorts of things after her name. She's very smart, but she's very smart for devotional things, and has collected together here a very thoughtful sheet for us. But I'm not going to repeat the sheet, it's yours, and please do read it. I've read it and we're keeping it, and we'll read it again and again in the future. It's very helpful. So Subhasini, I mean really publicly we want to very happily give appreciation that you've brought these together, and these brought together from Golden Volcano of Divine Love, this book here, and Revealed Truth by Srila Guru Maharaj. So you do have these, but I'm going to give some other sources also for understanding the verse. And one is in our Kirtan Guide, and it is Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's composition in Bengali about this verse. So it's, you can say the translation, but it's a little expanded translation. And so, I mean, we love to sing it, we do love to sing it, we love to sing all these songs, and we did. Maybe, Saturday we sang the first, we sang all of Siksastakam. They sang all of Siksastakam. We together sang the Siksastakam, all 8, chanting the verse and then singing, just as we do every day in Kartik. But you don't have to wait for Kartik month to chant the Siksastakam prayers. Just like you don't have to wait for the one day when Mahaprabhu appears to chant the prayers of Mahaprabhu's appearance. They're wonderful. You just sing those with devotees and you'll have a festival. And so here similarly, we sing these and have a festival. Anyhow, maybe I'll spare you the Bengali, though we'd love to sing. But Shri Krishna Kitana Jodi Manasa Tohara Parama Jatani Tahi Logo Adhikara Trina Dika Hina Dina Akinchana Chara Apane Marobi Sada Chari Ahankara. Okay, this is the beginning, and I'll just read the translation that's given here. So as always, translation is giving us an indication of what is there. And what was the quote? Every translation is interpretation, by the interpreter. So here we are. This is giving us our guidance to the meaning. Srila Bhaktivinoda accompanying Kirtan. If your mind is always carefully absorbed in the chanting of the holy name, then you will become qualified for chanting the holy name of Krishna. Humbler than a blade of grass, considering yourself low, poor, and meek, give up your false ego. Me, I do this, I do this. Verse 3, so we'll keep on going with the translations. Tolerant as a tree, you should forgive and forbear, giving up violence. Practice nurturing and protecting others. So the opposite of violence, opposite of envy. You practice to help others, nurture and protect others. Next verse, live without causing anxiety to others. Do good unto others without considering your own happiness. A great soul, so this is the next verse, a great soul who has all these qualities should not become proud of his saintly qualities, but giving up position and prestige, he should always remain prideless within his heart. Then, always knowing that Krishna dwells within the hearts of all living beings, You should always properly respect and honor others. Then doinya, doya, anyeman, pratishta, varjan, chari guni guni hoy, koroho, kirtan. Humility, mercy, consideration of others, and giving up position are the 4 qualities needed to perform kirtan. Then last verse, Bhaktivinodakari bole prabhupaya. Heno adhikara kobe dibe he amaya. Yes, Bhaktivinod, crying at the Lord's lotus feet, says, "O my Lord, when will you bestow upon me the qualifications for Krishna Kirtan?" So this 3rd verse is the verse which is Mahaprabhu's own instruction for the qualifications for chanting the name of the Lord. So we have heard this verse many, many times, more than I can count with my hands, again and again and again and again. We've heard this verse many, many times from Srila Guru Maharaj, directly from Srila Gurudev, directly from Srila Prabhupada in his writings, that humility, tolerance, giving honor to others, and not wanting honor for ourselves is the very formula. Srila Gurudev describes it as a formula for our success in the chanting of the names of the Lord. And our dear Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktisundara Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj, he also, and this is in his very last months, present directly with us before his disappearance in 2010, then he was saying to the devotees about this tṛṇād sunīcena taror sahiṣṇunā amāninā mānadena kīrtanīyaḥ hariḥ, saying that this is the only way to proceed, not only for the success of your spiritual life, but in every circumstance. Gurudev, he successfully, super successfully established Śrī Chaitanya Saraswat Math. Okay, Srila Guru Maharaj inaugurated and established, yes, but Srila Gurudev expanded it grandly and gloriously, and expanded not only the mat of Navadip, but ashram after ashram after ashram in different places. And in Bengal, and probably the rest of India, but really in Bengal, you have to compete with all sorts of outside energies in order to do anything. And Gurudev, is in difficult positions again and again, we can say. And Gurudev said that about this verse, humility, tolerant, giving honor and not wanting honor for oneself, said that this verse is the only way to solve all difficulties. And Gurudev said, I've tried everything else. I've tried so many other things. Finally, I had to come back to humility, tolerance, and giving honor to others. And that meant with the gundas, which means the naughty, not only naughty boys, whole groups of dangerous people. And we've been with Gurudev and seen his exemplary way of giving honor and hearing their situation and harmonizing with humility and defeating them by this. And Gurudev, I've tried everything else. And we know that Gurudev was very lively when he was younger. And lively means he would happily face any things with a good loud bark if anybody is coming to encroach on the temple property, etc. And Gurudev was able to bark. We know it. Not like a dog, but like a devotee protecting the Lord's property and the Lord's devotees. So anyhow, really it is so important for us. And the Śikṣāṣṭaka prayers, they're Mahaprabhu's 8 prayers, relished during his topmost ecstasy. He's relishing this verse of his own. And Gurudev relished this verse throughout his whole lifetime. And if there is like one verse that identifies Srila Gurudev above all others, probably it is this verse. There are so many things we can say But this was Gurudev's absolute emphasis for our life, for our practical life. We can fly in the sky, knowing about, or our brain can fly in the sky to hear so many like spiritual things of the upper world, this happens, that happens. But the practical conducting of our life is we got our feet on the ground, we are looking up, and our necessity is to constantly chant the holy name of the Lord by following, being able to do that by following these principles. And Gurudev gave the emphasis to 3, and then automatically the 4th will come. If you're humble, tolerant, giving honor to others, you're not going to want honor for oneself, because you won't be humble and you won't be tolerant. And recently, it's not in one of the books published, I don't think it was in a transcript that is on maybe gaudiyadarshan.com, but Srila, which is like a kind of thorough transcript, carefully prepared. And there Srila Gurudev was saying, Mahaprabhu said, humility, then tolerance, and giving honor to others. But Gurudev said, my feeling is that first is tolerance, then humility. But first we have to tolerate. And then we've got our quotes, tolerate what? To tolerate what is intolerable, we must tolerate. And one of our dear devotees, who is very energetic until today in his heart and activities and strength, he very beautifully expresses, because he's a very strong devotee and very honest, open, beautiful, all good things, but he strongly also stresses, we can maybe fake humility, but we can't fake tolerance. And he sometimes maybe not exactly tolerant in some situations. And so he's really speaking from experience and saying, and he's lively devotee. And he's really honestly saying, but we know we're meant to do these things, and maybe we can fake humility, but tolerance, when that tolerance snaps, oh, we've lost it. But humility, well, that's it. But tolerance, another thing. Hare Krishna, and then giving honor to others. I mean, we can take it bit by bit, and, well, if giving honor to others, Gurudev is saying, what have we got to lose by giving honor to others? And everybody wants some honor. So, yes, they want honor, we give honor. What problem? What have we got to lose by that? Rather, I mean, making the point, we've got nothing to lose. It's only our own ego which will say, no, I'm not going to give honor to him. No, Krishna is in his heart or her heart. We give honor to everyone. And especially if they want it, well, then give it, what problem? That's what they want from me, okay, I give honor to them. Gurudev, so practical and so sweet. Hare Krishna, and so many things in relation to these. But Gurudev saying about this verse, that this is the instruction of Mahaprabhu of how to chant Hare Krishna, the holy names of the Lord. So Mahaprabhu is giving his own instruction. In the first verse, he's given what the holy name does and the sevenfold aspect of the effect of the holy name. In the second verse, he's explaining that Krishna's done everything from his side, empowering his name with everything, manifesting himself in his holy name. He, especially in Kali Yuga, has manifested himself in his holy name. From his side, he's done everything, but the mood of the practitioner will be, but my misfortune is I have no love for chanting the holy name. I have not got that taste. But there again, as we mentioned, Rupa Goswami is giving us hope. We keep taking the medicine, and then the tongue will be cured, and then we will get that taste. The medicine, it is the medicine itself, which it is sweet, but our tongue will come to taste sweetness as we become healthy. That's the second verse. And now this third verse. What mood, how do we chant the holy name? Feel more humble than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree, to give honor to all others, and not to want honor for oneself. This way we can kīrtanīyaḥ sadā hariḥ. Do kirtan always of the names of the Lord. And as a sidebar, or just as something of interest, we can say, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Śrī Maharaj's bhajan kutir upstairs. When you see, if you see a photo, or if you go to Chaitanya Saraswat Mat, you enter in the main gate, which is the gate directly opposite the deities, and you can see through the Nat Mandir to the deities. To the right of the Nat Mandir, when you look up, that is Srila Guru Maharaj's bhajan kutir. That's where he was doing bhajan for the last several years, made by Gurudev, built by Gurudev, so that Guru Maharaj is away from all the downstairs troubles and he can chant peacefully. But there he has a L-shaped, actually a U-shaped, I suppose, veranda, but he has an L-shaped veranda around his living room where he would rest. And the door, above the door, you have a door, and then there's a wooden, maybe called lintel, I'm not sure, but that bit of wood frame above the opening door. On the side that faces the Ganges is written in Bengali, kīrtanīyaḥ sadā hariḥ. This last verse, this last line of this verse of Mahaprabhu. That's on Gurudev's own door. Reminder, kīrtanīyaḥ sadā hariḥ. So, very important things. We are trying to be devotees. We are trying to do what we're meant to do. We're trying to understand what we're meant to do, and then trying to do it. And so, the purpose of our coming together is to discuss these very things in the line of Guru Maharaj, in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which means, of course, in the line of Srila Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada, who's brought us all to Guru Maharaj. In fact, so we are sharing these things and rolling them around so that we can think, yes, I should be chanting the name of the Lord always. And how should I be chanting the name of the Lord always? With humility, tolerance, or if you like, tolerance, humility, giving honor to others, and not wanting honor for oneself. And we must watch these points for ourselves, not looking at others, for ourselves individually. We must watch these points. It's a lifetime of practice, as Srila Gurudev pointed out himself. Hare Krishna. I do have some selections. The last verse we did, which was the second verse, this is only the third one. I did have a few selections and we didn't use any of them. I'm not sure today what the plan is, but one of our organizers, Pandit here, Rasamai Pandit here, she's got the microphone ready to say something or share something.
It's not working.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we have a question that actually comes up often when we discuss this verse. Really, one can sort of glance over it. We hear that, many depths are extracted by the Vaishnavas when it comes to this verse. It's a very deep Siddhanta. And when it comes to the humility, really, we're often, the point comes up that humility isn't passivity. It doesn't necessarily mean a sort of passive disposition towards the environment, but understanding really what humility truly is a little bit of a deeper journey. And we're hoping that you could shed some further light on this.
Well, we can share what we remember and what we know from Srila Guru Maharaj and Srila Gurudev. And that is, in brief on this idea is that Srila Guru Maharaj says, and who is the judge of what is humility? Who is the judge of what is tolerance in context of our Vaishnava conception? So what Mahaprabhu is giving. And then Srila Guru Maharaj said, the judge can't be a madman. So the judge should be the opposite of a madman, a sane man. So what is the definition of a sane person? Who is sane? I mean, the doctors in the world. And physically try to analyze that one. Who is really sane? And Guru Maharaj said, really, the fully sane person is the fully devoted person to Krishna. So the pure devotee is purely sane. They see everything in Krishna. Their not only eyes are open, their understanding is open. One who knows Krishna knows everything. And so the standard of humility will be judged according to the pure devotee's angle of vision and not by the madman. And the madman is somebody who doesn't know what is what. And Srila Prabhupada is quite happy to repeatedly say about how if you have someone leading society who doesn't know what is what, then you got a madman making everybody else mad. So this is more or less Kali Yuga, where the purpose of life is forgotten, and so their standard that they will try to measure anything by, it will be faulty. And their means that's basically the standard of the world. And by the way, Guru Maharaj points out that for us to judge others implies we feel that we are perfect. I have the perfect angle of vision, this kind of idea. And so judging others comes within this part of we must be humble, tolerant, give honor to others and not be trying to judge that they are like this or like that, because that is also feeding the idea that my judgment, my opinion is, oh no, they are very wrong, they are this. Then it implies I know what is very right. But then somebody, like you're saying, there's a deeper way to see everything, basically, and that deepest way is the Vaishnava, the pure Vaishnava's vision. So Srila Guru Maharaj mentioned some incident in Navadip, in Mayapur, where some gundas, some thieves, came to do bad things in the ISKCON main ashram of ISKCON. And then a gun was used. Well, no, it wasn't. Nobody was shot or anything, but when somebody fires a gun, people start running around and dispersing, and then the public, they accused. Where is this humility? Interesting that the public know that Mahaprabhu's message is humility, tolerance, and giving honor to others. So the public made an outcry. Where is this humility? These Hare Krishnas coming from the West, they are not humble. But Guru Maharaj supported that they are resisting the invasion, the invasion, whatever you can say, the aggression of people who were trying to do harm to the devotees and do harm to the deities and to the property of the deities. So Guru Maharaj didn't join the mass clamor of where is their humility. He said, no, humility will be judged according to Vaishnava principle. And if someone comes to attack the guru, attack the deities, and take the property, we don't just, oh, yes, you come in, take the property. This is not proper humility. Hare Krishna. And about depths of humility, I mean, we have a few examples if we want to read something. And the translators, Hare Krishna, Govinda, Govinda, the translators do have the cheat sheet. It's not a cheat sheet, it's an info sheet. And we've got a few excerpts here. And obviously we won't read them all. We've got 6 excerpts. Hare Krishna. And actually, before we began, we were mentioning to the devotees, we said, if actually we took every quote of Gurudev and Guru Maharaj about humility, tolerance, and giving honor to others, and all the ways they presented it, we'd have a very long evening class, because, I mean, hundreds of times, as we said, probably between us, thousands of times, we've heard this verse being expressed And it was always fresh. It's not, oh, I've heard this before. It was always, as Gurudev is saying, heart-to-heart expression. Krishna consciousness is not just like repeating something or the same verse again or the same mantra again. Hare Krishna. Oh, we got to say Hare Krishna again today. It's living. Everything is living if we have the proper conception. And many things are intertwined, but there are many quotes we can give about humility, about tolerance, about giving honor, and about not wanting honor for oneself, and about constantly chanting the holy name of the Lord. So we could be here an awful long time. So I hope you got a packed lunch or packed dinner, packed breakfast, brought a sleeping bag. But we'll narrow it down to an hour. Kelly Karamba has something to say.
Well, I'm not sure if I should interrupt with, but we do have a question here from Mukunda Prabhu. But I don't know if you wanted to.
Well, don't dangle that in front of us. Tell us please tell us the question. Maybe we can answer now or a little later. Mukunda Prabhu, thank you for your question, but I don't know what it is. Should I thank you first? Let's see.
Dear Maharaj, kindly give some advice. Kindly give some advice on how to be tolerant to one's own self. There are times that I know I have none of these qualities to be a devotee, so I can chant the holy name, and this fills me with such guilt. I try to perform some seva, but then I'm thinking that there are so many faults in this seva, and thus I feel such shame. I want to preach, but at times I doubt myself in preaching because I can't remember the shlokas to preach, and I don't want to give my own foolish interpretation. So I relate some stories that can assist my preaching aim. How to manage this self-tolerance without increasing our ego and doing it with the most sincere form of humility, but with confidence.
Now, there is a question, Mukunda Prabhu.
You can also
and
see it there.
Another, okay, all linked in with this verse is, sorry, they're working out some electronics over here.
It's okay.
Linked with all of this is sincerity, that as much as we are sincere, we are safe. So there are things, it's not like a cut and dry, there's only this and this, because we get sincerity, we get shraddha, faith, we get seva, we get the guru link, we get the descending name to be chanted always. But this sincerity, without sincerity, then we're going to have a tough time. So, Mukunda Prabhu, your question is coming from that plane of sincerity to recognize how do we tolerate ourselves, our imperfections of ourselves. And so, well, every day try to do that calculation at the end of the day that Srila Gurudev said, maybe in the Mughal world is called Saltamama, something like that. And where at the end of the year, they look at the plus in the account book, they look at the minus in the account book, and they try to balance everything and start the new year freshly. So Gurudev said, we should do this every day. And so this is going to help us to try to address those things which we find intolerable in ourselves. And we must try sincerely. This sincerity is the main point. But about the preaching, just be you. And if you don't know verses and etc., it doesn't really matter. The main thing is that you need to try to convey the urgency to use a human life properly, because we can learn that devotion to Krishna, devotion to God, is the purpose of our life. Nobody told us before. We're letting you know now, and Bhagavad Gita, the hidden treasure, Bhagavad Gita as it is. They are there to help us and encourage people to read these books, the Home Comfort, Revealed Truth, the words of Guru Maharaj, the words of Gurudev, the words of Srila Prabhupada. They will have the potency, if you like, and we can try to introduce those words to the people we meet, to the public or to friends, to family, to whoever it may be. So just be you. You cannot be Haridas Thakur, and you cannot be Rupa Goswami, you cannot be any of the, we know many preachers throughout the last, how many years? 1966, since Srila Prabhupada's mission started up, really. How many years is that? 60. 60 years now. Over the last 60 years, so many preachers, but everybody's got their own nature and strength. So it's not that we're going to try to be somebody else. Whatever has inspired us, whatever solid thing we know, whatever we give should be fact, but whatever we know we can share with others. And it is not knowledge, it is really heart knowledge, relief work. We want to help others who don't know about Mahaprabhu and Nityananda, who don't know about Hare Krishna Mahamantra, why they should chant, who don't know about Prasadam, who don't know about Bhagavad Gita, who don't know about devotional service. So you may think that you are poor, as the devotees do feel they are poor and lowly. We just heard this from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. But you might be surprised when you meet the public that actually we can share something valuable with them, but it's not us we are sharing our masters. So keep on going, Mukunda Prabhu, and following this sadhana, which everyone knows basically. Here, that is to always, every day, try to read here something from Gurudev, something from Srila Guru Maharaj, something from Srila Prabhupada, and to begin reading Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is in several languages of the world, from verse 1, chapter 1, page 1, all the way through to what we're reading from today, the last chapter of the last part of the Antya-lila. So, but this really, if you start from verse 1 and go through, and then by the time you come to this chapter with these 8 verses, then you'll be very clear, we hope, in understanding everything wonderful about Mahaprabhu's pastimes, and the most wonderful thing that he's distributing. This, he is distributing, as you're saying, preaching. He is people reaching and distributing love of God through the chanting of the holy name, to be chanted with humility, tolerance, giving honor to others, and not wanting honor for oneself. So sincerity, faith, savor, service, and to reach out to people is service. It is what Gurudev, Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada expect us all to do. It's what Nityananda expects us all to do. It's what Mahaprabhu expects us all to do. To do. So keep on going happily.
Maharaj, we have another question from Bhuvana Sundari Didi.
Yes.
She's asking, how do we tolerate injustices? The injustices suffered by those close to us. It is easy to tolerate them when they happen to us, because humility and an understanding of samsara leads us to abandon the pursuit of justice for ourselves. But how do we bear seeing a loved one suffer injustice at the hands of someone who is also dear to us?
Okay, we'll probably come to this theme a little more in the next couple of days, or the next 3 days, because actually on Wednesday will be the last of the Bhagavad Gita series of Devashish Prabhu at this time. And we'll be coming to understand about karma, about what is suffering in this world, why it is there. So we'll probably address this a little bit more later. But in brief, because this is on the theme of tolerating seeing injustice elsewhere, we have to understand that Krishna is behind everything, and behind that screen of injustice, you can say, some benefit, there is a purpose that it is there. And it can be not clear to us, it can look very opposite to us at our present stage. But the devotees will understand that Krishna is doing something necessary to help each individual to come out of illusion and to search for him. So it's a little bit of a complicated one to answer, especially when it's relatives. And one day someone took me and said, please come with me, because we're dressed like this, we're in the street, or we're in a temple. Took me from the temple, Krishna temple. Said, please come, I want to show you something. And he took me and showed me his father lying on a bed at home with all these machines and wires and everything up his nose and like barely conscious. And he said, look what God did to my heart. Now you want me to believe in God. I mean, that was actually, offensive. It was very difficult, but we can take things bitterly in such a way like that man did. Young man, he was maybe 30 years old, but he was taking everything bitterly. And we try to let him see that there is some higher reason behind that. And in this world, if we do deny and not put the Lord at the center, we are all subject to karma. And when we see that, when he feels that, but when we see it, we must be reminded that this world is subject to karma. Every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. It has to be repaid. But this is a bit of a subject which will come up, like more specifically in Mahaprabhu's teachings. But we need to tolerate these things, thinking, and not only thinking, with the angle of vision that the Lord has his reason for this, and I cannot interfere. I cannot change the Lord's will, but I am allowed to see this. It's also to remind me that this world where we live is a place of suffering. And the net result of trying to enjoy is suffering. And to try to enjoy for ourselves is suffering. We are meant for the Lord's enjoyment, and that is only upwards and not the suffering that we see in this world. Yesterday, several of us, 3 full carloads of us, were in a hospital. And the hospital, it really is full of suffering. And people with broken legs, or this, that, and the other, old people, in the chair with a few days to live. All of these things we are seeing there. But we must take these things in the positive way that, yes, we hear about birth. Were you born? Everyone was born, and about how painful that is in the womb, everything the Bhagavatam tells us. About death, we died before, we're going to die again. And in the middle, there's injury, disease, all these things. This world has a magical way of looking, promising that we can be the master of the material world, but actually it is illusion that we can enjoy here with the riches and with name and fame and everything. So when we see suffering, like we saw yesterday in the hospital, we must remind ourselves, yes, that's where we live. And we must give our attention to solving this problem, which the hospital cannot solve, of eternal life, eternal joyful life. So Mahaprabhu, in his first verse of Śikṣāṣṭakam, promised that the chanting of the holy name, it will do these wonderful things to you. And now he's telling us how to chant that name so that we can get to our proper home and not live life after life in the prison house or the correctional facility. So it is difficult when there is suffering to one's near and dear ones, but the angle of vision needs to be changed for the benefit of who sees it and for the benefit who is at that time suffering from it. And devotees have a big heart. They are not heartless. So anyway, it takes a little longer than we've got just now to try to get the whole message over. But in justice, you can say things, there's an expression, such and such happened, it couldn't have happened to a nicer person, things like this. That's tricky to solve, tricky to answer, but it's not that there is not that clean answer. Tricky to convey the feeling behind it when it's one's close relative, like that man who showed me his father and then saying, I can't believe in God, he did this. Well, we tried to get him to understand something, and we don't know the result, because I don't think, well, maybe I met him one more time later. Anyway, remember Krishna, try to chant his name, and all material tribulations will evaporate. This word Guru Maharaj used, or Gurudev, we were reading very recently, or heard, because we listen every day, we read every day, not like all day long, but we have a morning program, evening program, and we heard this expression that all our troubles will evaporate when we come to actually be Krishna conscious. So we are trying to do that with very good guidance, the Lord himself and our gurus. Hare Krishna. A question from the left side. I told you we've got devotees on. Students on the left, students on the right, students in front, and students at home everywhere.
Hare
A
Krishna.
question.
Yeah, before one question, I want to just tell you a small incident which happened to me 15 years ago.
15 years ago.
Yes.
Okay.
So one of my friend's friend, we invited him for dinner, and he said something offensive about Lord Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Because 16,000 wives or whatever, some wrong conception he had.
Please don't repeat the offense.
Yeah, exactly. So I told him, like, your mother should be ashamed of you, being born as a Hindu and you're telling wrong things about Krishna and all things. So he really got agitated and about to punch me and me punching him. But my friend came into and said, no. And all the time, this person was trying to say, you have to take your word back, what I said about his mother not being proud of him. So initially I was intolerant, or I was very adamant. Initially I said, okay, fine, your mother, I'm sorry, I should not say that, but you should also try to not agitate and say things which would hurt other people.
Yeah.
And then I asked him, why did you say this? Why don't you believe in God or Krishna, anything? And he said, oh, I was somewhere he used to live in, and at the back of that he saw cows being slaughtered for meat, etc. And said, I lost hope. And because of that, but it was his own experience, etc. So
anyway, yes, and in our chanting, when we are taking seriously the chanting, then we are given other instructions as well as humility, tolerance, giving honor to others, and that is to avoid 10 offenses.
But this is Kali Yuga, right?
And one of the offenses is to chant the glories of the name to the faithless. So we also need to back off if we see that somebody is being offensive or faithless.
Yeah. But when he needed help, I did help him.
But we want to help everyone.
Yes.
Yeah.
So understanding about tolerance, this is how I have understood, and I just need your help to see if I have understood it correctly. 2 ways of tolerance, like tree, and you said that when cut down or when dried out, and then you said about forgive and forbear. So this is how I have understood, is cut down is like somebody steals your stuff, your relatives are trying to remove you from the property, or something being taken away from you, you forgive them. Okay, fine, you have it. This is how I have understood. And forbear is somebody is trampling on your ego or self-esteem or whatever we say. We forbear until it dries out and it burns, and I'm free from that false ego, etc. And in the meanwhile, you said, like tree, while it gives flower, fruit, shade, etc., I should give up every possession in the name of Krishna's service, and remain prideless and giving humility to others, not wanting anything. So this is what I have understood. If I have to be tolerant, these are the things which I have to. I'm just trying to align what I said.
Tolerant plus, because here Mahaprabhu has explained that the tree is giving flowers, fruits and everything, and it's giving shade. In other words, it's not only tolerating being cut down, the fruits that are on it, it's giving the fruits to those who are cutting it down. The weather's very hot, they're chop, 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 cutting it down, they're giving shade and they're sitting in the shade of the tree. The tree is giving benefit to others, even while it's being cut down and chopped up and being made to firewood or whatever it may be.
Thank you.
And trees have consciousness.
Yeah.
And in Navadip, one day, we're walking with Gurudev, as often we are, but he looks around and sees what needs to be done, and he sees some devotees. They are collecting the leaves in the autumn that are falling from the tree, and they're burning the leaves under the tree that they've come from. So there's like fire going up, and it's a big tree. But Gurudev just said, that tree will curse him. So trees, we should are given much respect. Actually, traditional India, trees are given much respect, especially banyan trees and other trees, and fruit trees. And Gurudev had a relationship with the trees. So there is, anyway, trees. And another place, Guru Maharaj says that the tree's birth is for the benefit of others. So it's not only that tolerance, but also benefiting others. And on that, we can also make a comment that we're in England, where Christianity, well, all over the world, Jesus is famous. I don't think anyone didn't hear of Jesus. And Srila Gurudev said about Jesus that he was put on the cross and he was like this. But that this formula of humility, tolerance, giving honor to others and not wanting honor for ourselves. Gurudev said, we are all trying to do that. But Jesus did it. And so he gives this credit for Jesus as a reformer. He's showing that for declaring about my Father, my Father, God, He is there. Love God with all thy soul, all thy heart, all thy might. For declaring that, He tolerated. He gave honor to others, and even this forgiveness, like the tree, giving something even though being chopped down, saying, dear Lord, forgive them who are hammering his hands on the cross. Forgive them, they know not what they do. He wasn't there with resentment and retaliation, bring in the army, go and get someone to annihilate them. Not at all. And there is one kirtan in our songbook where I must give up retaliation. The Bengali word is retaliation. That mood of someone's done something wrong to me, I must do something wrong for them. That must be given up too. So, as we heard before, there are different layers of understanding everything. And you're giving your thought to these points. It's a lifetime of practice. See if you can be successful by tomorrow. Challenge.
So, perfect ending. See if you can remember by tomorrow. My question is, for the practitioner who's constantly forgetting, like maybe you could recite the verse tṛṇād, and even in that span of time, we're already forgetting that we're supposed to practice. I mean, I'm speaking for myself. Constantly 30 seconds go by. Okay, I've got to be tolerant. 30 seconds, and then back to madness. So what advice do you have for practitioners who, like, how do we get Gurudev to snap his fingers and get us to wake back up and remember for at least 30 more seconds?
Well, persevere. We must be enthusiastic. Have you heard about this? We must be confident, and we must persevere, that not to expect that we're going to get everything right immediately. And another thing is that those who really are saintly, they don't feel that they are saintly. They don't feel that they have these qualities. Guru Maharaj's composition saying, and in the beginning of Prapana Jivanamritam there, he's saying, even though I have this almost uncurable desire for the prestige of a poet, I hope that you saintly readers will accept what I'm giving you. So that's Guru Maharaj. And again, we find it, Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, we find everywhere this extreme humility expression where they are feeling themselves absolutely insufficient for doing what they feel they should be doing in service. But this humility side, if we engage in practice humility, practice tolerance, practice giving honor to others, and practice not wanting honor for ourselves and being conscious of all these, as well as doing what the last line says, kīrtanīyaḥ sadā hariḥ, then we've got the formula. So we will keep applying that formula in our life, and we are always forgetful. It is Kali Yuga. We know we're forgetful, but we should try not to forget the purpose of life, that we should chant and in this manner.
Lots of questions coming.
Oh, you have
through,
lots of
Maharaj.
questions. I've got lots of quotes.
Please, if you want to read.
No, well, it's good to have questions because all of us, I mean, pretty much, I have to see everyone. I'm not seeing everyone at home on the screen here, but practically all of us, we know this verse. Maybe everyone here knows this verse off by heart, one of the few Sanskrit verses. Whoa, we know off by heart. And we've heard about these qualities again and again. So again, we got wonderful quotes. There's so many wonderful quotes from Gurudev, Guru Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, etc. And throughout Chaitanya Charitamrita, and even Mahaprabhu said to Rupa Goswami, I think someone can correct me here, but Rupa Goswami, wasn't it, or was it Sanatana? So anyway, I'd have to double check because this isn't the quote I got. Mahaprabhu in one place in Chaitanya Charitamrita, I think it's Rupa Goswami, coming to him with straw in the teeth, down to the ground and saying their absolute fallenness and how absolutely relying on the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu was saying, please stop being so humble. And normally he's telling everyone, be humble. So, there are so many expressions, but when Rupa or Sanatana, I don't exactly recall to be perfect who it was that was being so humble. I think it was Rupa Goswami. But, this humility is discussed again and again. And Rupa Goswami, he's not pretending, he's not read it in a book, we should do this. It's coming absolutely from him. Hare Krishna. And anyway, so many wonderful things there. This example of humility and the equivalent of the temperature of absolute zero. And scientists, they found that electric current going through a cable or something, it approaches zero resistance when it comes down to that minus whatever it is, which is absolute zero. There's some figure where they say you cannot get colder than that. That is absolutely cold. And at that temperature, there's zero resistance. So this example, because the world likes a scientist, is sometimes used that if the devotee's humility comes to absolute zero, then the Lord's grace without any resistance will flow. And how we remember it? By constantly trying. 2 things to do, so easy Krishna consciousness. One is always remember Krishna, and the second one is
Never forget Krishna.
always forget. Oh yes, never forget Krishna. Yes, thank you. Always remember is the positive side. We must practice, but we must also remember like the negative side, not to do. So we must at the same time remember, never forget Krishna. and they both have their part to play. And we all want success in life. That's why we've become devotees. We've been attracted by love, by beauty, by sweetness, by all these things. So, Shukadev Goswami, so this is Srila Guru Maharaj expressing. Shukadev Goswami, and this is number 6 for the translators on our information sheet. Translators information sheet, not a cheat sheet. And it's Srila Guru Maharaj, number 6, in Sermons of the Garden of Devotion, Volume 1, saying that Shukadev Goswami began the talk of Srimad Bhagavatam. And there he gave the principle of Krishna consciousness that harmonizes all classes, means everyone. Then, to receive, so this is Guru Maharaj speaking, Srila Sri Rama. To receive descending spiritual knowledge in this way is the method of the deductive school, and the nature of such fit recipients is described as nirmatsar. They are freed from jealousy. They have no jealousy. Those who are suffering the disease of jealousy cannot tolerate anyone holding a higher position than themselves. They cannot tolerate the merit of others. They think, I am the best, none can be greater than me. This is their disease, matsara. But the Srimad Bhagavatam is for those who are free from the disease of such a mean, egoistic feeling. The students that come forward to read the Bhagavatam must be of such character that they have conquered that mean, egoistic sentiment of considering oneself to be all in all. When that sort of mean, egoistic feeling is removed, one will be fit to study Srimad Bhagavatam, and he will successfully imbibe the teachings herein and make a great and inconceivably divine improvement in his life. And what is Srimad Bhagavatam's message? Love, beauty, sweetness, charm, all overflowing. Hare Krishna. So, I mean, this is one of several quotes which are here. Hare Krishna. From Srila Gurudev. Oh, so Mukunda Prabhu, here we are, from Srila Gurudev. And he's linking sincerity directly here for our understanding. Sincerity and all of these topics for our remembrance, not to forget, we keep sincere, we want to be sincere. So Srila Gurudev, and this is excerpt number 5 for the translators, from the dignity of the divine servitor. Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Deva Goswami are saying, whatever we do, we must do with sincerity. And that in itself will help us to safeguard us, to keep ourselves protected. Then, we must be sincere. Then Srila Gurudev is saying, sincerity, humility, and tolerance are the necessary qualifications to receive transcendental knowledge. What are the 3 qualifications needed? You knew I was going to ask that. Sincerity, humility, and tolerance are the necessary qualifications to receive transcendental knowledge. First is sincerity, Srila Gurudev here saying. With sincerity, we can get everything, but we really must be sincere. Otherwise, the results will not come. Hare Krishna. Okay, I'm going to skip to the next paragraph for the translators because we don't have time for everything. Then Guru Maharaj is saying, furthermore, if we want to remain peacefully, we must give honor to others. If we do not disturb others, but give honor to them, they will not disturb us. They will think, this person is very innocent. He is not against me. Furthermore, he nourishes me by giving me respect. So I must not disturb him. This is a hope. Mahaprabhu always wants that his devotees have peace in order to practice spiritual life. Such peace is only possible if the devotees are humble and tolerant, and if they give honor to others. The devotee will think, I do not want to see whether someone is an honorable person or not. I don't want to see that. I don't want to be the judge. But I know my own position is that of an insignificant soul who is aspiring to be a servant of the servants of Krishna. So, if someone wants any honor from me, I must immediately give it to him and not give him any chance to think me to be an enemy. This is one of many, many excerpts, quotes, times that Srila Gurudev in one day would discuss this point of tṛṇād sunīcena. Okay, and Nityananda Prabhu we didn't mention. Nityananda Prabhu, everything. We are expecting that by the mercy of Nityananda, we must get a lift, an elevator to go there. But by coming in touch with Srila Guru Maharaj, already we have a connection to go there. This is so hopeful from Srila Gurudev. It is only necessary for us to have a little strength to tolerate the speed. We've already got the connection with Guru Maharaj. So now we only need some strength to tolerate the speed. Krishna is very merciful to the souls of Kali Yuga because he gives them the opportunity to connect with himself. Himself, Gurudev is saying, himself means nama, name, his name. Harinama. Krishna and Krishna Nama are non-different. He, in the form of Nama, always wants to distribute his mercy to the fallen souls. That connection we have already. Now it is only necessary to tolerate the speed of our journey. That is our duty. So there's some tolerance, tolerate the speed. That is our duty. And who cannot so tolerate will, oh dear, fall down. Every jiva soul has freedom. That is, he is free not to take hold of a pillar, stick, or other handhold. And so he falls down by the wind. And in another place, Gurudev gives an example that we're on an elevator that's going very fast, up, 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 but there are no walls. There's only that pole in the middle. And I was, here in England, many years ago when I was young, I was at Nottingham University. I know it's not, well, maybe another university. Anyway, I was at one of the universities, maybe Nottingham, and went for for an interview kind of thing. Anyway, and they had an elevator, like, you press the button and go 1, 2, 3, 4. But it had no door. It had 3 sides, but the front, it was just a continual loop. And you just get in. It didn't go very fast, but you just got into the elevator and it goes up. And then when Gurudev said about on another occasion, he said about the elevator, it's going up, but there are no sides, but there's that pole in the middle. You just have to have that strength to hold on to the pole and tolerate, and that's all you have to do. So here we are, other examples of tolerance and humility, all of these things, and that we are so fortunate to have taken birth in this age of Kali Yuga, be reminded, because, and especially so, having attained the human body, not only that, but we have connected with this Krishna consciousness through the merciful devotees of Srila Swami Maharaj and Srila Guru Maharaj. Then what fear need we have? We have received everything, but now it is necessary to digest it properly. On that note, we better stop, because otherwise we'll be here all night with everything. And also, this really is such an important verse. Every verse is important, I know, but today it's a very important verse because it's today's verse and is so much stressed by all of our masters. And in the background, they brought mridanga, they brought cartels, and we've got a what you call it, transcendental
Temple classroom.
Transcendental Temple Classroom, TTCR. We're in the TTCR, Transcendental Temple Classroom. And so, and now we're going to finish as we would do in the temple with Hari Haraya Nama Krishna, Yadavaya Namaha. I won't sing. A volunteer was singing. Abhinava Sundara was singing. And he's also at the controls, so we have to just change the microphones. And probably cartels and mridanga need to be a little carefully, gently made. But yesterday's kirtan in the hospital, we were on Zoom, and we had it on the phone with the microphone setting change, and the kirtan was quite good in the hospital yesterday. Video was a bit choppy, but the kirtan was good on Zoom. All right, dear devotees, are we saying goodbye now? No. Oh, we got to say, okay, I've been asked to say the jais. So really, jai, Śrī Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Śikṣāṣṭaka ki jai, Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Sāpāśāda, his eternal associate of Sriman Mahaprabhu ki jai, Sāpāśāda Sri Nityananda Prabhu, eternal associate of Nityananda ki jai, Jai Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktisundara Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Jai Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Rock Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Śrī Chaitanya Charitamrita, we began today, Śrī Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai, all the holy books of our divine masters ki jai, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai, Sri Rupa Nuga Guru Vaga ki jai, Śrī Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Vrinda ki jai, all the assembled devotees here online and in the recorded version ki jai, our translators, hope I didn't wear you out, our translators ki jai, and well done. I think Maheshwari's first time doing the translation, simultaneous translation to French, so well done. And oh my goodness, the beautiful devotees, everyone with their camera on. Jai Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Okay, everyone didn't have their camera on. So I saw the first screen, but there's more after that. So do click on the next screen so we can see who is there. Okay, wonderful. So we see the auspicious names and auspicious thumbnails. And yes, more and more being turned on. And again, Subhasini Devidasi, so much appreciation for preparing these. Please read these. They're very substantial. And now you have for verse 1, verse 2, verse 3, tomorrow verse 4. So do come back tomorrow. More wonderful things from the Supreme Lord himself through our masters.